The vast emptiness of space stretched out like an endless black canvas, dotted with distant stars and silent mysteries. The Star Weaver, a research vessel from a distant planetary system, drifted unexpectedly through an uncharted region of cosmic wilderness. Captain Jason leaned forward in his command chair, his blue-tinted skin reflecting the flickering emergency lights that now dominated the ship's interior. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The ship's main systems had begun to fail one by one. First, the primary navigation computers went offline, then the quantum stabilization field started to fluctuate wildly. Strange energy readings surrounded them, unlike anything the crew had encountered in their decades of space exploration. "Status report," Jason called out, his voice calm but tight with controlled tension. Engineer Min-Ki, a young technician with sweat beading on his forehead, responded quickly. "Captain, we're experiencing complete system breakdown. The spatial anomaly is causing unprecedented interference with our technology." Around them, the ship's interior creaked and groaned. Metal panels vibrated with an unsettling frequency, and warning signals blared from multiple consoles. The crew of 12 looked at each other with a mixture of fear and professional determination. The Star Weaver had been on a routine research mission, mapping unexplored sectors near the galactic rim. They were studying unusual energy signatures that had caught the attention of their scientific community. What they didn't expect was to become trapped in what seemed like a technological nightmare. Jason's experienced hands moved across the emergency communication panel. Standard protocols demanded they broadcast a distress signal, though he knew the chances of rescue were slim. This region was remote, far from known trade routes or inhabited star systems. "Preparing wideband emergency transmission," he announced, his fingers dancing across holographic interfaces. The ship lurched suddenly. A massive energy surge rippled through its internal systems, causing multiple electrical failures. Backup generators struggled to maintain critical life support systems. The temperature began to drop, and frost started forming on the interior metal surfaces. Min-Ki shouted another warning. "Captain, we're losing structural integrity. The quantum field is collapsing." Jason knew they had minutes, perhaps less, before complete system failure. Their advanced technology, which had served them perfectly during countless previous missions, now seemed fragile and inadequate against the mysterious forces surrounding them. He activated the emergency beacon, broadcasting on multiple frequencies. The message was simple and direct: urgent help required, precise location coordinates, critical life support situation. But deep down, Jason understood the harsh reality. In this remote corner of space, their chances of rescue were almost non-existent. The other crew members worked frantically. Some tried to repair critical systems, while others prepared emergency survival protocols. Their movements were precise but tinged with an underlying current of fear. Outside the ship's viewing ports, the surrounding space seemed to shimmer and twist. Unusual energy patterns danced like ethereal ribbons, beautiful yet terrifyingly alien. Whatever phenomenon had captured them was unlike anything in their scientific records. Jason looked at his crew, professionals who had trained together, explored together, and now potentially faced their final moments together. Their faces reflected a complex mix of professional calm and genuine terror. The ship continued to deteriorate. Electrical systems sparked and died. Environmental controls struggled to maintain breathable atmosphere. Each passing second brought them closer to a potential catastrophic end. As the emergency beacon continued its repetitive transmission, broadcasting their desperate plea into the infinite darkness, Captain Jason allowed himself a moment of reflection. Would anyone hear their call? Would anyone come to their rescue in this forgotten corner of the universe? The Star Weaver drifted silently, its fate hanging in a delicate balance between hope and inevitable destruction. The Earth Space Command Center buzzed with quiet intensity. Rows of monitors displayed endless streams of data, and technicians worked with focused precision. Most of them would have ignored the distant, weak signal that came from an unknown region of space. But not Senior Analyst Hygiene Park. Her eyes locked onto the strange transmission the moment it appeared on her screen. While other analysts continued their routine work, she felt something different about this signal. It was weak, distorted, but carried an urgency that demanded attention. "Command, I need a second look at these coordinates," she called out, her voice cutting through the background noise of the control room. Senior Commander Kim approached, his experienced eyes scanning the data. Most signals from deep space were routine research probes, automated exploration systems, or random electromagnetic noise. But this was different. The signal came from a region considered completely unexplored. No human vessel had ever traveled this far. The technology required to even attempt a rescue would be extraordinary. Most administrators would immediately dismiss the transmission as impossible. Hygiene began running complex algorithms. The signal's origin point suggested a ship in critical condition. Whoever or whatever sent this message was experiencing a complete system failure. Most space agencies would calculate the rescue probability and determine it was not worth the risk. But Hygiene was different. She saw potential where others saw impossibility. Her fingers moved quickly across advanced holographic interfaces. She pulled up detailed analyses, cross-referencing the signal's unique quantum signature with their most advanced deep space tracking systems. The more she studied, the more convinced she became that this was a genuine distress call. The Space Command Center operated on strict protocols. Any rescue mission required multiple levels of approval. Bureaucratic processes could take days, sometimes weeks. By then, any potential survivors would be long gone. Hygiene knew she had to act fast. She approached her direct supervisor, Commander Lee. Her presentation was calm, logical, backed by precise mathematical calculations. She outlined the potential for a rescue, the advanced capabilities of their experimental quantum adaptive fighter, and the moral imperative of potential first contact. "The risk is too high," Commander Lee initially responded. "We don't know the species, the exact nature of their emergency, or whether this is even a genuine distress signal." But Hygiene had prepared for this argument. She presented simulation models showing a 62% probability of successful rescue using their most advanced experimental spacecraft. The quantum adaptive fighter, nicknamed Horizon Breaker, was specifically designed for extreme missions. The spacecraft was unique. Developed in secret over several years, it represented the pinnacle of human engineering. Its adaptive quantum navigation system could theoretically handle extreme spatial conditions that would destroy conventional vessels. Commander Lee remained skeptical. The military-scientific complex was conservative, always measuring risk against potential gain. A rescue mission this far from known space lanes represented an unprecedented challenge. But Hygiene was persistent. She understood that sometimes, humanity's greatest achievements came from taking calculated risks. This was more than a potential rescue, this could be humanity's first meaningful deep space intervention. Hours of debate followed. Technical teams were called. Simulations were run. Each analysis brought more intrigue about the mysterious distress signal. What species had sent the signal? What technology were they using? The potential for scientific discovery was enormous. As night fell over the Earth Space Command Center, a decision was forming. The experimental Horizon Breaker would be prepared for launch. Hygiene Park would pilot the mission personally. She knew the risks. She understood the potential for complete mission failure. But something in that distant signal spoke to her, a sense of urgency, of hope, of desperate need. Humanity was about to attempt the impossible. And Hygiene Park would be the one to make it happen. The Horizon Breaker launched from Earth's orbital station with remarkable precision. Hygiene Park sat perfectly still in the pilot's seat, her breathing controlled, her mind completely focused on the complex navigation challenge ahead. Space around her transformed into a complex mathematical puzzle. Quantum navigation systems flickered with intricate holographic displays, showing impossible spatial distortions that would have destroyed any conventional spacecraft. But this vessel was different. Designed for the most extreme missions, the Horizon Breaker moved like a living entity, adapting continuously to environmental challenges. Navigation computers calculated millions of potential routes every second. Each calculation represented a potential path through dangerous cosmic regions where normal physics seemed to break down. Hygiene understood that one wrong move could mean total mission failure. The ship's exterior was covered with adaptive quantum shielding, a technology so advanced that most scientists considered it theoretical just 5 years earlier. These shields could bend spatial energy, creating safe passages through regions that would typically tear apart metal and organic matter. Hours passed. The distance to the distressed alien vessel grew shorter, but each light year presented new challenges. Unexpected energy waves crashed against the Horizon Breaker's shields. Spatial rifts appeared and disappeared without warning, creating navigational nightmares that would have stopped any other pilot. But Hygiene was not just any pilot. Her hands moved with supernatural precision across control interfaces. Each movement was calculated, each adjustment made with mathematical perfection. She read the spatial environment like a complex musical score, understanding its rhythm and flow. Communication systems occasionally picked up fragments of the alien vessel's emergency transmissions. Broken language snippets, technical warnings, desperate system alerts, each piece gave Hygiene more information about the rescue challenge ahead. The alien ship's exact condition remained unclear. Initial scans suggested critical structural damage. Its quantum stabilization field was collapsing, which meant the entire vessel could disintegrate at any moment. Time was running out. Unexpected spatial anomalies appeared continuously. Quantum rifts opened and closed around the Horizon Breaker, creating corridors of dangerous energy. Lesser pilots would have retreated. Hygiene saw them as opportunities, calculating complex navigation routes through these dangerous regions. Her training had prepared her for this moment. Years of simulation, thousands of hours in experimental spacecraft, countless technical assessments, everything had led to this single mission. A rescue attempt that most considered impossible. The ship's computer constantly warned about increasing risks. Danger indicators flashed red, highlighting potential system failures. But Hygiene remained calm. She understood that panic was the real enemy in such complex missions. Slowly, carefully, the Horizon Breaker approached the coordinates of the distressed alien vessel. Each movement was precise, each navigation decision calculated with extraordinary accuracy. The experimental spacecraft moved more like a living creature than a machine, adapting continuously to the chaotic space around it. Distance measurements counted down. 10 astronomical units. 5. 3. The alien vessel was now visible through the primary viewing screen, a damaged, drifting structure that looked both beautiful and terribly fragile. Hygiene took a deep breath. The most critical phase of the mission was about to begin. Rescue was possible, but far from guaranteed. Everything would depend on the next few moments of her piloting skills. The universe seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The Horizon Breaker approached the damaged alien vessel with surgical precision. Hygiene's hands moved across the control interfaces like a concert pianist, each movement calculated and deliberate. The alien ship looked like a wounded creature floating in the vast darkness of space, its metal skin scarred and systems failing. Initial scans revealed a catastrophic situation. The alien vessel's structural integrity was collapsing at an alarming rate. Quantum stabilization fields flickered weakly, creating dangerous energy fluctuations that would tear the ship apart within minutes. Most pilots would have considered the rescue impossible. But Hygiene saw a challenge, not a barrier. Initiating quantum synchronization, she muttered, her voice calm despite the critical circumstances. The Horizon Breaker's advanced adaptive shields began to interface with the alien ship's failing systems. It was like two complex machines learning to communicate in a language neither fully understood. Quantum frequencies aligned, creating a delicate bridge between two completely different technological systems. Captain Jae-sung and his crew watched in disbelief. Their advanced sensors showed something unprecedented: a human vessel was actually attempting to stabilize their critically damaged ship. No species had ever attempted such a complex rescue before. Hygiene's navigation skills became her greatest weapon. She used the Horizon Breaker's quantum adaptive systems to create a stabilization field that would temporarily support the alien vessel's collapsing structure. It was like holding together a fragile glass sculpture during an earthquake. Warning systems screamed across both ships. Energy readings spiked dangerously. One wrong calculation could mean total destruction for both vessels. The space between them became a complex battlefield of quantum mechanics and pure human determination. Micro adjustments happened every millisecond. The Horizon Breaker's systems bent the very fabric of space, creating a protective quantum envelope around the alien ship. It was engineering that bordered on magic technology so advanced it seemed to defy known physical laws. The alien crew watched their monitors in complete shock. Their most advanced computer systems couldn't comprehend the rescue method being used. A human pilot was essentially rewriting the rules of spatial dynamics to save their lives. Structural integrity readings began to stabilize. The alien ship's failing systems started to respond to the quantum intervention. What seemed impossible moments ago was now becoming a reality. Hygiene's concentration was absolute. Sweat formed on her forehead, but her hands remained steady. Years of training had prepared her for this moment, a rescue mission that would redefine humanity's capabilities in space exploration. Communication systems crackled to life. Broken transmissions revealed the alien crew's growing hope. They were witnessing something beyond their technological understanding, a rescue that defied all known scientific principles. The most critical moment came when the Horizon Breaker had to actively prevent the alien ship from disintegrating. Quantum stabilization fields expanded, creating a protective bubble that literally held the vessel together. It was like performing delicate surgery in the middle of a cosmic storm. Minutes felt like hours. Every second brought new challenges, new potential points of failure. But Hygiene remained focused, her mind working faster than the most advanced computer. Slowly, incredibly, the alien vessel began to stabilize. Its failing systems started to respond, quantum frequencies aligning with the Horizon Breaker's protective field. What had seemed like an impossible rescue was becoming a reality. Captain Jae-sung could hardly believe what was happening. A species they had barely considered significant was now saving their entire crew. Human technology was proving to be far more advanced and adaptable than anyone had imagined. As the final stabilization sequence completed, Hygiene allowed herself a momentary breath of relief. The rescue was not yet complete, but the most critical phase had been successful. The universe had just witnessed something extraordinary, a testament to human ingenuity, courage, and an unbreakable spirit of exploration. The aftermath of the rescue sent shockwaves through multiple galactic civilizations. What had started as a simple distress signal had transformed into humanity's most significant moment of first contact. Hygiene Park stood on the observation deck of the research station, surrounded by both human officials and alien representatives. The Star Weaver's crew looked at her with a mixture of respect and pure amazement. Captain Jae-sung approached her, his blue-tinted skin reflecting the station's soft lighting. "No species has ever attempted such a complex rescue," he said, his voice carrying a tone of genuine wonder. "Your technology, it's beyond anything we've encountered." News of the rescue spread quickly. Scientific communities across different planetary systems began analyzing every detail of the Horizon Breaker's quantum intervention. What humans considered an experimental mission, other civilizations saw as a technological miracle. Earth's Space Command Center was overwhelmed with incoming communications. Diplomatic channels that had been quiet for decades suddenly buzzed with requests for communication, trade agreements, and scientific exchanges. Humanity had proven itself not just as a surviving species, but as a potential leader in technological innovation. The rescue revealed something profound about human capabilities. Where other species calculated risks and often chose inaction, humans had demonstrated an extraordinary willingness to attempt the impossible. Hygiene's mission was more than a rescue, it was a statement about human potential. Scientific analysis revealed the true complexity of what had been achieved. The quantum stabilization technique used by the Horizon Breaker was so advanced that it would take other civilizations decades to understand its basic principles. Humanity had essentially rewritten the rules of space rescue and technological intervention. Diplomatic meetings followed. Representatives from various planetary systems wanted to understand the humans who could perform such an extraordinary rescue. They were no longer seen as a young, developing species, but as potential equals, perhaps even leaders in technological advancement. Captain Jae-sung's report became a landmark document. He described not just the technical details of the rescue, but the human spirit that made it possible. The willingness to risk everything for unknown beings, the precision of their technology, the calm determination of their pilot. Hygiene received multiple honors. But she remained humble, understanding that the real victory was not personal recognition, but what the mission represented for humanity's future in space exploration. The Horizon Breaker became more than a spacecraft. It transformed into a symbol of human potential, a beacon of hope that suggested humanity could solve problems considered impossible by other civilizations. Economic and scientific partnerships began forming. Species that had previously ignored human communications now sought active collaboration. The rescue had done more for human diplomatic relations than decades of traditional negotiation. Research institutions across multiple planets began studying the rescue techniques. They wanted to understand the quantum adaptive technologies that had saved an entire alien crew. What humans considered experimental technology, others saw as revolutionary. During a major galactic conference, Hygiene was asked to explain her approach. Her explanation was simple yet profound: we saw a problem. We had the capability to help. So we did. Those few words captured something essential about human nature, a combination of technological capability and fundamental compassion that set them apart from other known civilizations. The rescue changed everything. Humanity was no longer seen as a young, developing species struggling to understand space technology. They were now recognized as potential leaders, innovators who could solve complex problems with creativity and courage. For Hygiene, the most important moment came quietly. When Captain Jae-sung personally thanked her, expressing gratitude not just for the rescue, but for showing what was possible when technology met genuine compassion. The universe had witnessed something extraordinary. A single mission had rewritten the understanding of human potential, proving that courage, innovation, and compassion could overcome seemingly impossible challenges. Human civilization had arrived on the galactic stage not with weapons or aggression, but with an unbreakable spirit of rescue and hope.